Hey all, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, hi, hello. My name is Eric. I'm a first semester nursing student hoping to share my thoughts and experiences on this whole program. So today I wanted to talk about a mistake that I almost did again when applying for my grad programs that I made when I was applying for my undergrad programs. So in high school, they make you talk to a counselor before you even submit your application, or even before you even think about submitting your application. In high school, I wanted to apply to schools like NYU, Johns Hopkins, Columbia, where I considered my dream school. Of course, I also wanted to stay close to home and probably save a little bit of money. So my options were also Cal States and UCs, right? So I essentially went into my counselor's office, right? So this is high school Eric. I went into her office and I was like, hey, Mrs. XYZ, I was thinking, I really wanted to apply to Columbia, Hopkins, UCLA, UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, Cal State Northridge, Cal State LA, San Francisco State, and Cal State Long Beach. So I want to keep my options open. What do you think? Right? I essentially told her where I wanted to go, and what she told me kind of like hit me hard, and it affected me even in my application for grad programs, where she looked at me straight in the eyes and said, Eric, with your grades, you'd be lucky to get into a Cal State. So in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I was a 3.5 student, right? Not 4.0, but I was a pretty solid 3.5 in an advanced studies program, right? With majority of my classes advanced placement, with majority of my classes honors, with years of musical theater background in my experience, and a couple of years of sport as an extracurricular, and tons of community service experience, plus leadership experience in that community service experience. So what did she mean? This is where I kind of had to shift my thinking in terms of like saying yes to myself and saying no to myself, right? I realized that in that moment and in that time, I didn't believe in myself enough to even try. After she told me that I'm not even going to get into these schools, I completely dropped the thought of applying to Columbia, to Hopkins, to NYU, to the schools that I was like, man, these are dream schools. Like I literally visited these schools over the summer, and I was telling my mom like it would be pretty cool to go here, and for someone that's supposed to guide you, and maybe they did have the best intention, but at the same time I was like, man, she only knows me because of my grades and whatever she sees in her screen. Like she hasn't even talked to me at all, and we were only able to see her like once or twice throughout our senior career or junior career, because that's when you start to apply. So I almost made that same mistake because I had that kind of ingrained in my head, like, man, your numbers are whack, Eric. Like, you're not going to get into a nursing program. I had that mentality of like ingrained in me because that's what, this college counselor said. But luckily, I developed some sort of self-confidence throughout my 4 years in undergrad, 5 years in undergrad. Luckily, I developed that, and I was like, you know what? The worst that they could say is no. The worst that they could say is no. So I did it. I submitted my applications and I got into my dream school. And it makes me wonder, like, what would have happened if I actually submitted my Hopkins application when I was in high school. If I had submitted my NYU application, it just makes me think about, like, man, learning back in retrospective, and hindsight is definitely 2020. Thinking back, I realized that I may have missed a bunch of opportunities that were probably available to me because I said no to myself first, right? Saying no to yourself is basically closing yourself out to opportunities. And I really just wanted to share this story because it's been deep in my mind ever since I started going here. I'm like, if I chose to have that mentality of like, no, you're not good enough, no, you're not worthy, no, your grades aren't good enough to get into this program, I probably would not be in any school, literally. And I've said this over a few videos already. I literally would not be accepted into any other school if I said no to myself here. So yeah, that's my little story. thank you for listening. If you got here to the end of this video, leave in the comments, like, when was a time that you were about to say no to yourself, and what would you do now knowing that you can say yes to yourself? Because honestly, the worst that people can tell you is no. And yeah, it might hurt, but at least you people always say this, shoot your shot, right? At least you tried. At least you did something instead of not doing anything at all. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.